Combat sports fans, it's time for Strong Style, Impact Media's weekly dive into the world of professional wrestling and MMA. I'm your host, Jeremy, the Impact York. Want to welcome you guys in. My goodness, it feels like it's been ages since filmed the show, and it actually hasn't been that long. Tons to get into, tons to get into. So great to be back on the show. I hope you all are well. I will go ahead and throw this out there. No Raw and SmackDown talk this week because tomorrow night, me and tag team partner Daniel Snyder will be breaking down the Elimination Chamber, previewing all the matches and all the matchups there. There are so many storylines tied into one little pay-per-view, or PLE rather. And we'll have all the latest and all the theories and things about that. Just a lot to get into, but just disclaimer off the top, not going to really get much into it tonight. We're going to talk about practically everything else: NXT, TNA, AEW, BKFC, Invicta, and of course, we're going to start off with some PFL talk. Going to talk about all the stuff coming up here soon. If you didn't get a chance to see my sit-down interview with Joy Pendel, go check that out. That was a week or so ago. She's fantastic. She wants to fight a lot more. Still wants to fight Krista Tim's Usher. She had some updates earlier today that that's not for me to speak of. Go check those out if you want to catch those up. Wish her a speedy recovery with everything, and lots of prayers and everything going on. We'll just put it at that. But I want to start. Of course, if you want to follow the show, you can find us on YouTube at impact_media_ will should find us on there. If not, go to the social medias we have and follow the links from there. At the Impact 99 will find me on practically any social media. That's a good place to find a link if you can't find the show. If you want to email the show, there's 300 ways that you can do so. The best way is to hit us on social media because those go directly to my phone. And you can usually respond pretty quickly and get you where you need to be. If you are on YouTube, please go to our YouTube page and like, subscribe, question, comment, suggestion, leave all of that. We really do have so many things we want to give away. And if there's giveaways and contests, join them. If you're the only one that submits something, you're probably going to win. We're going to have some fun stuff coming up here soon. Deep South is going to be back starting next month, which is only a handful of days away before March. So we're going to be talking some Deep South as their Greenville show and their New Realm show is coming up. We're going to talk some Renegade Wrestling with Corey and the crew there. That's another local one that's just tearing it up. And we're kind of chatting with some people back and forth about having guests on here and there. Hopefully, we're able to do that and tell you guys about some of the most amazing shows that you can go check out. So definitely stay tuned, especially to the social media, especially to this show. We will talk more and more about that as we get closer to it. So, quick note on a few of these, and then we'll dive into some actual cards and the actual action that happened this week. We'll start with the PFL. They announced, a couple weeks ago that in Orlando, the first round tournament, basically, a start of the tournament, the first round, it's going to be first round, semifinals, and then finals. The first rounds are April 3rd, 11th, 18th, and I believe May 1st is the other one there. I think the first three are in Orlando. I don't remember if May is or not, but those are down in Orlando, and of course that's the women's flyweight, that's the bantamweight, that's the featherweight, and that's the lightweight for all of those tournaments that they were having. It's 8 weight classes, single elimination, 8 fighters per weight class. Because you're going to have, I don't know the schedule of them yet. I haven't seen that yet, but like I said, you're going to women's flyweight, You're going to have apparently that's the only women's division they have this time around. For the men, you're going to have bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. They like to mix and match those up. Like I said, those first round matchups are going to be in Orlando. That is April 3rd, 11th, 18th, and the first. They are having the semifinals June 12th, June 20th, and June 27th. I believe they announced. Felt like that was also on the East Coast. I don't remember where they said that. Of course, the finals are August 1st, August 15th, and August 21st. Can we see some of those dates on here? It's great radio. I'm aware. Where? Yeah, that's Orlando. Okay. Yep. All the Aprils and the May is all in Orlando. I don't think they've announced yet where the semifinals and the finals are going to be. Like I said, I thought the semifinals are somewhere over on the East Coast. It's not Atlanta. I want to, I don't even remember. It might be Nashville for it's something close. And then my guess is the finals will probably be Vegas or Atlantic City. That's the two places I would consider. Um, maybe Texas, but I think Vegas or Atlantic City would be places I would definitely look into. Also, I want to talk about Invicta 61. It is announced for April the 4th. Once again, just through some rumors I am hearing, I think they are looking at Michigan as a possible destination for that. Nothing has been announced formally. That is just informally one of the things I heard at Invicta 60 from some pretty good sources is that those are places they are looking at, or a place they are looking at doesn't mean anything. They could be on the moon. They could be right back here in Atlanta. I don't think they're going to be in Atlanta, but it could be a lot of places. Of course, that's going to be Ferreira versus Palacios for the atom weight title belt. I think that's going to be a really good fight. They've announced some, or they're going to announce some other fights here soon for that, but they got almost a whole month before that's going to happen. So I think the card will fill out in the next 2 weeks. We'll start to see that card fill out, and we'll see and hear from some of the fighters. And who knows, maybe we'll have a couple more of those on here because we've had two Invicta fighters on here already. Maybe we have a couple more in the near future. And also, questions, comments, suggestions, all that. If there's people from these cards or these things we talk about that you guys want me to have on as guests, drop them down there in the comments. Send them to me. I'd rather you drop them in the comments, but send it to me however, and I will do my best to get these people on. If you have a favorite fighter in any of these um, wrestler, I'll do my best to get these on. Some of them are a little harder than others for obvious reasons, but we're gonna have a lot more people on, and you guys are gonna really enjoy that. I think. Hope so. Also, BKFC is gonna be in Albuquerque tomorrow night. Actually, that's why I wanted to hurry up and talk about it now. Great night of fight. You're gonna get to see Richardson versus Usmanov. I saw Richardson fight here in Atlanta in December. If he is at least half as relaxed as he was that night in Atlanta, Usmanov is going to have a tough night. He's going to have a tough night because Richardson was so relaxed and so laid back that he made quick work of his opponent. His opponent was, fairly good. A couple other fights they have on there. You're going to get Donald Sanchez versus Harrison Aiken. You're gonna get Felipe Chavez versus Derek Finley. I saw Finley fight here. Finley won his fight. He went against local hero Joe. And Joe was kind of upset. He thought he won. I could make an argument that you could have won that fight, but my scorecard, which was unofficial and had no judges involved in it, I thought Finley did just enough to get you. But hopefully it makes you bounce back into some bigger and better things. Matchup number 4, you're going to get What a great name, by the way. Eric Dodson, otherwise known as Thuggy Bear. Thuggy Bear. He's going to go against Van Vo. Van have a tactic. Van Tactic Vo. I like that one too. That those two are going to swing it out. That's featherweight division. They are going to be throwing punches in bunches and bunches of punches. And then I assume that the top five are going to be top five fights are going to be all your main card. So we're going to go Derek Perez versus Mike Livingston in what weight class is that? I had that in front of me and now I don't. There's bantamweight. That's going to be a good fight too. I favor Livingston overall, but you know Perez got a little bit of dog in him, and anytime somebody's got a dog in the fight, they got a good chance to get in on that. But that is a majority of, or that's the other one. Let's see, that's BKFC, that's Invicta, and that is your PFL news. Let's talk a little UFC. They had UFC Fight Night, Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. By now, you guys know about the eye poke, the growing hit. I thought Jason Herzog did a spectacular job. Not going to defend him or his actions. I don't think he needs to be defended or his actions. I thought he did everything as a ref he was supposed to do. And Song Yadong won that fight. Even if you give Henry Cejudo round two or whichever round you think he won, I had it, honestly, I had it 30-27 going into the fourth round. He was going to have to stop Yadong, and I didn't see a way he was going to do so because Yadong was controlling that fight. Even if you gave him around 29-28 at that point, didn't matter. But when Cejudo couldn't see because of the last eye poke, and he said, "I can't see out of my, I can't see out of my eye," fight over. Herzog did the right thing. You call in whoever you like, but when the fighter says, "I can't basically intelligently defend myself," that's not a way of giving up. That's a way of saying this fight can't go any further because we're talking permanent damage that could happen if they allow that to happen. So you do exactly what Herzog did. You technically let the fourth round start, and you stop it. You have the right people come in and look, and that way it goes to a judge's decision. There is no DQ. There's no contest. They both deserved better than a no contest here. So you do that. You let it go to the judges, and the judges said Song Yadong won. Shouldn't be an argument. He won the fight. He was winning the fight not because of any of the fouls he committed, like the groin strike or the eye poke. He Because of those eye pokes, it had nothing to do with him winning the fight. He was winning the fight without all those. So I think that went the way it was supposed to. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez with the big unanimous decision win over Brendan Allen. I think absolutely. Fluffy really put on a show, really put on a clinic. I thought Brendan Allen was having some good moments, but it was Fluffy's night. I would say he had one of the better performances that I saw. I liked it. Rob Font gets a split decision over, I think is it Jean or is it Jean Matsumoto? I never get it right, but it ended up being a catch weight. Rob Font was able to get the victory in that one. You got to watch Rob Font, man. He's one of those guys that you don't realize is lurking around, and then he springs up and smashes somebody. Joel Silva, I think he called him Lord. I unfortunately can't call you that, buddy. But Joel Silva gets the big TKO win over Meltik Bagdacharan. Just it ended up being it was just that shot that was just bang, it's over. He didn't win by punches; he won by a punch. That's all he needed. And then Alonzo Menifield with a split decision win over Julius Walker. That was a solid one to open up the card. Notable, there was a couple of them I wanted to say. the Ion Kudalaba victory where he got the arm triangle. I thought that was really good. Um, Ricky Simone with the TKO over Basharat. And what about Austin? Don't call me Mr. Van Zant Vanderford. I heard an interview with him where he said this was on 4 days' notice. I think he was supposed to fight one guy, and then that guy got hurt or pulled out, and then back and forth. And so they got Nikolai Veratekinov or Veratenikov to go against him. And Austin said these two were so nice and so great. He kind of wished he'd been a little meaner during the fight week. He goes because after Austin wins by TKO, almost towards the end of the second round, man, Vanderford has looked good in fights before. He looked like he was born for this moment in this one. And the shove at the end from Nikolai was a little uncharacteristic. I don't know what he was so upset about, but Austin just kind of shrugged it off like, whatever, bud. Great debut. The fact that the UFC has Austin now on their roster, and even though that was a catch weight, I believe he said he wants to fight at 170. That he only fought at 185 just because he just ended up doing that for Bellator. He is a 170 fighter. He wants to fight at 170. That division is more loaded in his opinion. He he's right. He is going to buzzsaw through that. He'll probably fight somebody in the top 15, somewhere 10 through 15 the next fight or so, I bet. And within a couple fights, he's going to crack the top 10, possibly top 5, and really, really shoot up through there. I'm a big Austin fan, big fan of Page as well, but big Austin fan. The dude is just super chill, super cool. Seems like a really cool human with all the stuff he does. They've got a great podcast. I look forward to more good things from Austin Vanderford. So let's go to this week fight night. It is going to be Nasrat Hapkaparas against Esteban Ribovic. Where are they fighting this weekend? They are fighting at the Apex. I thought they were at the Apex. That is a lightweight battle. Oh, that's the third fight. Okay. My screen didn't update there. The main event is Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev, with Kape being a minus 220 favorite, plus 180 for Almabayev in the flyweight division. Manel Kape has been putting people on notice. He really has earned his spot here. This ESPN Plus, I believe, entire card, which may have to pop that up on the phone where I'll be at. I will watch some of this live, watch the rest of it when I get home. But I really like the way Manel Kape has been fighting as of recent. But Almabayev is the one I think you can not only make a little bit of money in betting at the plus 180, believe he's actually going to win the fight. I think this is going to go the distance. I think you're going to see, 48-47 majority. Yeah, 48-47 for Almabayev. I think it's going to be a really good fight. It's going to be a good main event. And it's going to be set up by the co-main event, which is Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez in the middleweight division. These two are going to slug it out. I don't know that it goes the distance. I would say mid-third, you're going to see I think Cody Brundage gets the stoppage on Julian. I'm going to say TKO of Julian Marquez halfway through the second. That's plus 110 for Brundage, minus 130 for Julian Marquez. That is practically a coin flip. The one I talked about before, Paparas versus Ribovic, plus 210 for Nasrat, and Esteban Ribovic is a minus 260 favorite. I think Ribovic gets it done. Hyder Emil at plus 165 is going to go against, uh, I don't know if it's William Gomez, because he's French. Technically, that should be Guillaume Gomez, something close to that at minus 195. But I've got the French fighter picking up the win in that one. And to start off the main card, you're going to get Danny Barlow at minus 330 versus Sam Patterson at plus 255. Normally, I would say plus 255. Sam Patterson is a good shot at picking up a little money and a potential win. Danny Barlow is going to win that fight. Absolutely, Danny Barlow is going to win that fight. Is there Douglas Silva de Andrade is going to face John Castaneda? That's going to be a fun fight. Andrea Lee and JJ Aldrich. Those two women's flyweight competitors are really going to let the fifth fly. And Montana De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina. A lot of people are saying take Carolina as a favorite in the women's flyweight there. I say take De La Rosa at a plus 110. Not really to try to make any money off of it. I just think Montana's going to win the fight. Just kind of how I feel on that. So that's all the fighting. Let's get into some wrestling. I want to start with NXT's. It's somewhere on my screen. There it is. Nope, not that one. There. NXT Vengeance Day. Now this happened a week or so ago, but they've been dealing with the aftermath of this ever since. And I just want to go over some of the stuff. And I may have went over it before, but I just feel like what happened here is going to shape what we see between now and WrestleMania season, which is coming up. And they do have another event in between this. They have it is some Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver is going to be here April 19th at the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada, which is right off of Las Vegas. They're going to build towards that. But the matches that happened at Vengeance Day, you had Stephanie Vaquer, who defeated Fallon Henley, even though she had all of her entourage out there, to become the new NXT Women's North American Champion. I think Fallon did a good job of hanging on to the belt. I think she was a solid representative of it. I didn't think she was a transitional champion. I wouldn't consider her that. For once, she had it a little longer than that, and also she didn't seem like a transition one. She seemed like somebody that they legit wanted to run with that belt for a while. I think she did a good job. Not saying she won't win it back. I doubt she does it anytime soon because Stephanie Vaquer is going to hang on to that probably until she either becomes the NXT Women's Heavyweight Champion or until she gives it up to go for the championship, one or the other. But it was a really good match. Fallon and Stephanie match up really well, and they're able to play off of each other and just do some spectacular things. Everybody got their stuff in. It looked really good. And I thought it was actually one of the better matches of the night. No, there were two better. That was the third best match of the six by far. I give that the third place, only because there were two that I thought were just better. Fraxium defeated Josh Briggs and Inamura. Inamura and Briggs are a good team. I don't know what they're doing with them because that was the perfect opportunity to get the belts off Fraxium and do whatever you're going to do then. And instead, Fraxium keeps the belt, and that's fine. It tells me that you don't know what to do with your tag division, so you're just letting them keep running with it. But Briggs and Inamura as a tandem, they don't always have to team up. They could just watch each other's backs as they go through singles ranks and stuff like that. That's not a bad idea either. I think Briggs really could be something going forward. I want to see, I don't want him to just be a tag specialist, and that seems to be what they're trying to push him as. He could be more of the same way they're doing with Jensen, where Jensen's not really in a tag team. He's part of a faction. So I kind of want to see Briggs as a standalone, even if Inamura is standing beside him. If you guys kind of get what I'm saying there, but it's a good match. I mean, they know each other a little bit, so it wasn't too bad. Eddie Thorpe was able to beat Trick Williams in a strap match. This one got me. Not just for one, Eddie Thorpe as a heavyweight contender came out of nowhere, and then he beats Trick Williams in a strap match. I didn't quite understand it, but it does boost Eddie up even higher to where you got to kind of consider him a top contender because he just beat Trick Williams and he didn't really do anything underhanded to do it. He kind of beat him straight up. It almost looked like Trick just didn't kick out when he was supposed to, but uh, not real sure what HBK had in mind with that one. I thought it was a good match for to be a strap match. They beat each other up pretty good. They had some good moments, nothing really crazy. I thought it was just a solid match, and Eddie Thorpe gets the win. Um, Ethan Page defeated Javon Evans, which needed to happen. Javon's still young. Ethan Page, potential Raw or SmackDown competitor, I would say. But you still need Ethan down there to help with the younger talent. And I think he's doing either a mentorship or he's doing something to help a lot of these people in NXT because we're seeing the current wave and the new wave behind them just gradually get better. And a lot of them are working with these veterans like Shawn Spears and Ethan Page, and it's paying off. Absolutely paying off. In by far the best match of the night, I think. This was my favorite match. With the main event actually being number two. But my favorite match was Oba Femi, who took on Austin Theory and Grayson Waller in a triple threat match. We pretty much look like we've seen the end of Theory and Waller as a tag team because of the way they kind of went at each other for this. And Oba Femi, that dude, potential monster down the road in a good way. He has taken to this so good, and he's got a swagger. The fact that him and Moose of TNA have kind of gotten into a little bit of a program is there's a lot of similarities in those two. Former football standout, got some swagger to them, considered main event players. They can learn a lot from each other, and Oba Femi and Moose is something I definitely want to see more of those two fighting because I thought it was great. I thought Theory was actually the standout of this match. Waller had some good moments too, but I think you're about to see Austin Theory with potential face run. I think you make Austin Theory a good guy. I think you get him on a little bit of maybe an intercontinental style run, and you see what he's going to do with it. And if he takes the ball and runs, then you know you got something. And if he doesn't, do something else. But I think the kid's got something, and I think Waller could too. I think you do need to split him. One needs to go to SmackDown, one needs to go to Raw. Austin Theory needs to be on Raw, and I think Grayson Waller on SmackDown. I think works the best. And I would look out for Theory for the rest of this year that he could make a little bit of a solid run to be top of the mid card and going into next year potentially taking that next step. And then by far the second best match that was really good, had the Oba Femi match not been spectacular, this would have been my favorite match. Julia defeated Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade in a fatal four-way match to keep her women's championship. Stephanie Verker come out and they did title to title and congratulate each other, which both of them having a title should keep them away from each other for a minute. You don't want to see these two face off quite yet. You can tease it for a while. Maybe SummerSlamish or later in the year is when I would consider having those two actually face off. Until then, there's so many opponents for each one of them that I would keep them all on that path. This was a really good match. Cora Jade shows every new time out that she's getting better and that she should be taken seriously as a top competitor. Bailey is a Hall of Famer. She's very rarely has stinkers of matches anyway. And Roxanne Perez is going to be not as going to be. She already is one of the top in NXT. When she hits the main rosters, look out. She's going to start taking some jobs. She's going to start taking some jobs for sure. But like I said, they've got Stand and Deliver coming up. Stand and Deliver is going to be on April 19th in Paradise, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. I believe is that where? Is that the home of the Golden Knights? It is the home of the Golden Knights. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking so. But they have not really announced any matches for that. I figure in the next couple of weeks we'll start to see that card start to fill out. But until then, we will just have to wait and see. Let's talk a little TNA. Out of the gate, I got to applaud TNA. This is one of the best show opens I have seen them have in a decade. And this includes pay-per-views. This includes, I mean, this is up there with Elix Skipper jumping off the top of a six-sided cage. You have Joe Hendry come out. He's going to sing some songs. And then two of your three brand new signings come out to interrupt him. And who are these guys? Well, these guys are the Colon brothers. The Colon brothers, which are Carlito's brothers, by the way. His name is Carlito Colon. Carlos Colon is their dad. I'm pretty sure, or I think one of the Colones is a cousin, and the other one is Carlito's brother. And I always get their names mixed up. Orlando and Eddie. I believe Orlando is the cousin and Eddie is Carlos's brother, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. They interrupt Joe Hendry. And they say, that's enough of that, Joe. And Joe says, well, that's fine. Come in the ring. I've got a guitar in my hand. Not afraid to use it. And they said, well, I don't think your math lines up because two of us, one of you. And while Hendry ponders that, all the lights go out and we hear someone strum a guitar. But it wasn't Joe Hendry. Nope. It was Elijah, who used to be Elias in WWE. But all of a sudden we just hear the familiar string of the guitar. And then there's a spotlight, and there he is, and he says, hello, I'm Elijah. And he sings a little bit of a song and all that kind of stuff. And he comes down and basically runs the Colognes off a little bit, enough to where Santino comes out and says, you know what? Now there's two of you, and there's two of you, and for the main event, we need to see this match. Which ended up being a really good match. And Elijah being in TNA might be one of the best places he could be in. Because here's the other thing. TNA and NXT have this little bridge where you see them back and forth. I told you that Moose and Obafemi have crossed over to stare at each other. Cora Jade has made her way over to TNA. There are, let's see, we've seen the Rascals run into NXT. We have seen the Hardys are going to be doing it very soon as well. We're going to see some NXT people cross over again, and this is a beautiful relationship. This is the way it should be. This is the way the indie scene looks, where sometimes you see invasion angles, or sometimes it's like, hey, I'm going to send you a couple of my guys, send me a couple of your guys or gals, and we get fresh opponents, and we get new things, or we can do these crossover stories and make bigger spectacles than what just individual shows should be. It's what the wrestling community should be, is working together. If you work together, then we all win. And when I say we, I mean everything from the companies to the talent, the fans, media, to everybody, to the venues. Everybody wins if we work together. Together, everyone achieves more. Team. I think Gary Busey said that, but Gary Busey was due for something good too. What else happened in TNA? The Rascals took on Tyson and Tyreek, who have West with them as well. They are from NXT. Um, and the Rascals had Ace Austin with them. I still stand by the statement. This whole crossover, when we see Ace Austin in NXT and against some of these NXT people, he might be the next guy to cross over for good. You know, we had Jordan Grace. We've had Motor City Machine Guns. Ace Austin is going to benefit the greatest from this partnership. Just mark it down. And Tyson and Tyreek are actually becoming a pretty good tag team. You know, if they cross over into TNA, they could do some good stuff as well. Um, that match wasn't. It was okay. Callahan and Warner continue to beat each other up in the back. Once again, going to lead to some sort of death match or something like that. And for people who don't know what a death match is, that just means they use everything, including the kitchen sink, to try to destroy each other. And I don't know where you're going with that because Warner just showed up, and I can see if Callahan was on his way out and Warner were on their way out, you let them do this and then they're out. But I just don't think TNA is much of a market for those crazy extreme matches like that. But then again, they didn't ask me. Um, Tessa Blanchard came out for a minute. Northern Armory, led by Eric Young, came out. Looks like Mustafa Ali and his new crew are going to mess with Santana. And his new crew is Tasha Steele and the Good Hands, which I think is a solid faction, by the way. That's and the way he recruited them as though they were just kind of lost out in La La Land and need a little bit of direction. I think that's kind of accurate where those people were. Tasha Steele was kind of left out in the dust after the latest kind of music stops. Everybody finds a chair, and she realized she's the only one still standing up. So this is a good spot for her. And Mustafa Ali needs his own faction that's not just some random people in suits. And the Good Hands are good. So I like that. Taking on Santana, that's solid for all of them because they can trade wins and really help each other out. Um, Anytime you see Ariana Grace and Santino interact, it's fun, it's wholesome, and it's hilarious. These people don't know. Santino Morello has a daughter in the wrestling business, and her name is Ariana Grace. They hint at it all the time, but it's not much of a secret. But seeing them play off each other is great. It's great. Just like when The Rock stops by and sees Ava, which is his daughter, in NXT, it's fun to see those family moments in wrestling because they're few and far between, and most of the time something dumb happens, that messes them up. But so far, they're letting these play out, and I think these are great. Um, Told you about Oba confronting Moose. I want to see that match. I want to see that match pretty big time. Moving on. Let's move on. Let's go to we got AEW left. That's all we got left is AEW. So let's talk some AEW on Dynamite, seeing MJF and Hangman square off. These are two guys that this company is built off of. And can't wait for this. Their feud should be at least 2 or 3 matches long. It might be better than Hangman and Swerve. It might not. There's a chance that Hangman leapfrogs MJF through these feuds, even if he doesn't put up the W. That Hangman is just so beloved. MJF was dead on when he said that. When he says, he goes, I can't believe that this crowd just forgives you and just gets behind you when you stick needles through people's cheeks. He did the swerve. When you burn people's houses down, he did the swerve. And, when you destroy people's careers, Chris Daniels. And yet everybody still behind Captain Cowboy there. Hangman. It's pretty crazy that the AEW crowd basically is saying we're behind Hangman no matter what he is. If he's good, bad, indifferent, we don't care. Hangman's our guy. Works. MJF wants to be hated anyway, but that works. They can really. This could be the hottest feud of the entire winter into spring. This could get you into summer. This could help really build some numbers back because AEW took a couple hits in ratings, things like that. It's not because their content's not good. Um, it's not because they're not running shows right or they're not booking things or I can't believe they did this, not that. No, they're fine. They're fine. They have good people running everything, and that's not just Tony Khan. There are people in good positions that keep other people from having too much power and that balance out, and it works better than most countries' government. The way they've got it, they're fine. They're fine. If they need some help, they know where I am, and I'm happy to help. I might even save you a plane ride to Jacksonville. We can just telecommute or whatever. TK, let me know if I could be of any assistance. I am serious for that. Plus, you guys would love that. What else was there? Seeing Kristen and Kip take on, and Nick take on Joe, Hook, and Shibata. It was a good match. It showcased Joe and Hook and Shibata a little bit, but it didn't help the patriarchy much. At some point, Kristen's got to cash in that briefcase basically he has, and I just don't. I don't know if it's just for a world heavyweight because could he not cash in for the other title or the tag titles or I mean, he's pretty much. I think he should cash in for a single title. I think it would be useless for him to do anything else. But it doesn't have to be a world title shot, does it? I would just keep that in mind. Um, what else was there? Bill and Hobbs beat the two out of each other. I mean, just if it wasn't nailed down, they picked it up and hit the other one with it. And it was actually really good. Most of the time, these street fights are dumb, in my opinion. It's just a spot fest. This one told a story. This one reminded me of the show Deadwood that was on for a very short run, where the town tough guy and the out of town rival tough guy, when they had it out throughout the whole city there and just halfway destroyed the town and each other. That's what this was. This was to determine who's the resident monster right now, and that's Powerhouse Hobbs in this case. I still say Bill, future world champion. Hobbs put himself on a different level to where he should be a consideration for at least a singles title, a middle singles title, or something for now. And if he keeps playing his cards right, he's a dang good athlete. There's a chance he could really build up and do something. Still the best thing going in AEW right now is Tony Storm. I stand behind that. And even though Mariah May is very good and got better and better and better each day as champ, the only reason they took the belt off Tony Storm and put it on Mariah May, not the only reason, but one of the big reasons was because Tony Storm was in a movie that is coming out next weekend. I'm going to have to check my calendar. I may go see this when this comes out. I forgot what it is called now. It is, let's see if we can find that movie real quick. It is, where is it? I was talking to a bunch of people about it. Um, was it that? I swear I was just talking to somebody about it. I think I was talking, I know who I was talking to about it. Queen of the Ring, called Queen of the Ring. And for any of you Arrow fans, the young lady who played Felicity in it is playing the title or is playing the main character in this one. but it has so many great female wrestlers and talents in it. Tony Storm is one. There is a couple other ones from AEW and other places, and that is part of why she couldn't be champ because she had to go record that. And I can't wait to see it. This might be as good, might be even better than Iron Claw, which was the last movie I saw in theaters, which tells you how often I go to theaters. But as a lifelong pro wrestling fan, short for fanatic, you can't miss one of these. You can't call yourself a wrestling fan and not go see these movies. Um, but by far the best thing going in AEW right now is Tony Storm, and it looks like the Mariah May stuff is kicking back up as well. That Mariah's not just going away quietly. Can't wait. That's 100% a feud that can go into the summer, and I think it would be just spectacular. What else was there? Looks like Marina Shafir has picked a person who is actually going to kind of go toe to toe with her because so far Mox and crew attack everybody and Shafir just kind of runs blocker and it hasn't really had a female challenger. Looks like Willow could be that person. Willow and Shafir would be a great match, and I look forward to that one. With Mox and crew, of course, you get Jay White, you get Cope, and you get FTR. That's that four, and then you get Pac and Claudio and Mox and Yuta. This sounds to me like their was it Blood and Guts? Yeah, that's their war game or whatever. That I see this as a 4-on-4 war games, and that's probably where this whole thing is going to culminate. Um, Statlander versus Megan Bain. That was really good, and having Penelope kind of side with Megan Bain a little bit, I like that pairing. Penelope needed someone with the muscle because she is a finesse wrestler, and Megan Bain needed her. This is live in Raquel. That's what this is. It's and not just little and big. No, it's nothing like that. So no, you have the power, you have the strength of Megan Bain, and then you have Penelope, who's just that instigator who will sneak in there and just steal the idol right off the pedestal, Indiana Jones style. Just perfect opportunity. That's a great pairing. Throw in Thunder Rosa in there and her Statlander. You're looking at a good tag match there, but Bane and Penelope Ford is a great tandem, and I think they can do some really, really good things. I like the storyline about the jacket of Jimmy Rave. I was a big Jimmy Rave fan. I met him probably at least half a dozen times at various wrestling shows. Um, I got one of his headbands somewhere. Um, Fans kept trying to take his stuff at ringside, and so I snatched a few of it and tried to give it back to him. And he said, "No, you're cool. You can keep it," which I appreciated. And that to me told me that maybe I was Jimmy Rave approved. And I always thought that was a great thing because he didn't he hadn't proved just everything, but he always seemed to be all right with me. So that was good. But having his jacket stolen by Ricochet and Swerve and Nana trying to get it back. See, they're fighting over a title that happens to be a jacket, happens to be that robe, and it means more than any title that those two could fight over. And you're totally cool with either one of them having it. At some point they'll get it back. We know that, but this is telling everybody that Ricochet is not just a novelty act, which is kind of what he had become in WWE. He was almost a Kofi at times. We just put him in because he does cool stuff. They actually are showing you that him and Swerve can hang and they can really tear the house down. And he belongs in those top spots. That he was a world traveled big dog and never really got past the mid card in WWE just for lack of them ever doing anything with it. Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong, solid match. It was a very solid match. I hadn't seen Orange in a while. Probably was dinged up, but it was good to see him back on. Um, go to Collision. Storm and Mariah get into it. Mariah gets the upper hand again. That's how, like I said, we knew that was coming up with the big stuff there. Harley Cameron is my probably second favorite thing about AEW right now. If not for Tony Storm, Harley Cameron would be my absolute favorite. And I know I say that each and every time I'm on here, but trying to get her on because in the last 6 months, her in-ring work has just went bonkers. She's so good on screen. She's so good in the ring. You could tell she puts in the work and just continues to be one of the top performers. She's gotten title shots and other stuff like that. And if she just continues on a path like this, then the audience will get further behind her and they'll have no choice but to put her in high profile stuff because she'll be that over. Absolutely that over. We got to see the debut of Gabe Kidd. For all you people who don't watch a lot of New Japan, Gabe Kidd, it was a big dog over there. His contract ran out. AEW signed him. A lot of his friends like Omega and Okada are in AEW, so this made sense. And it'll be interesting to see what they do. They put him against Butcher, and the two of them just beat the crap out of each other. Don Callis was involved as well. I don't know if he's going to try to recruit Gabe Kidd. Not bad. Gabe Kidd could use somebody helping him call some shots, at least early on. I'll be honest. The group that he should join is the Death Riders. If you put Gabriel Kidd, and he goes by Gabe Kidd now, but if you put Gabe Kidd with the Death Riders, I don't care if you bump anybody or not, they become the number one faction. And they are just so tough. I don't know if anybody could take them out because that would be 5 or 6, if you count Saphir, 6 of the toughest people in the industry. And it would not be a fight I would want to pick. But we got to see his debut. Like I said, I don't think the match was that great, but it was mainly to get Gabe Kidd in front of people. And Butcher was a good dance partner in that one. Queen Amanada and Julia Hart had a pretty solid match. Amanada is a really good worker, and I enjoy her in-ring work. Julia Hart, she's another one. She came back. She had a little bit of – she come back off injury. Here she comes. It's going to – and then it's like they don't know what to do with her yet. So, honestly, what I would do, because I think Sky Blue is close to coming back from injury, I would put Sky Blue and Julia Hart back together as a tandem, and I would call them Black and Blue. And you got those, and you got Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. You could actually start a women's tag division. You have the personnel, and you are that deep where you could have the world title, the TBS title, or you have the world title. Then you have the one Monet has, and then you have the tags, and you could run 3 divisions and just spectacular. You don't even need those dark squash matches anymore. That would be what I would absolutely do. What else was there? There was a couple things. I want to see what they do with the Hurt Syndicate. If they put them against the Murder Machines, the Murder Machines are good talent. The Hurt Syndicate will possibly hurt one or both of them. There was something. Oh, Max Caster versus Brody King was an absolute squash. I'm going to make a prediction. Max Caster is out of AEW. It depends on his contract too, but he is out of AEW by October because it looks like Bowens is the stronger of the two. I don't know why he hasn't been on a little bit. Maybe they're just pushing Max Caster. Maybe Bowens left because of a contract. I don't know. But if this is the best they can do for Max Caster, he's going to be out by October. It's not even a good watch right now. And Max is a good talent, but having him just completely ran over, like even the audience isn't. I mean, they're buying it. The audience isn't behind it. They're just like, so what? And Brody King is a monster on his own. I could see him and I could see Buddy Murphy doing solo runs while still being that tandem. If you want to throw Julia in there, that's fine too. But while still being the Hounds of Hell, see, they're one that they could tag or they could split and do two completely different things, and it's completely legitimate. And so that's just where I kind of see that. I could see Brody King or Buddy really making a good singles run. Buddy versus Okada at Grand Slam was outstanding. Well, I didn't even talk about Grand Slam, did I? And next time I have Clay on, which will be in a couple weeks when we preview the next one, the next big event they are having. Um, then I will tell my Swerve Strickland story, and it is a good one. But as far as Grand Slam, it was pretty good, pretty solid. Osprey and Omega versus Fletcher and Takeshita. I think it showed. I mean, you had Mark Davis on the outside, and he factored in 0%. No reason for him to even be down there. Made no sense whatsoever. But if anything, it showcased Fletcher. Takeshita didn't. It's like he didn't really get much going in that one. And then Osprey and Omega are always good. Solid match. Monet versus Harley Cameron. Whether you like Monet or not, and you guys know that me and Clay are not the world's biggest Mercedes Monet fans, massive respect for her. She's not one of my favorites. Massive respect. But her versus Harley was second best match on this card of the five. Second best. Mercedes versus Harley Cameron almost stole the show, if not for the main event. Main event was the best match. This was the second best match on the entire card. And part of it had to do with when you had Mox and Claudio versus Cope and Jay White in a Brisbane brawl. It ended up being a technical submission. It looked like somebody they literally got banged up. Uh, but they just beat the crap out of each other, and this was the opposite of what Hobbs and Bill did with their street fight. This was just a cluster for 15 minutes. It's about all it did, just take up 15 minutes of the show. Okada versus Buddy Matthews was the third best. It would have been the second best had Harley Cameron and Monet not almost stole the show. But it showed that Buddy Matthews is on the Okada level and that he could be taken considerably considered as a top singles competitor. That he can go with those guys. He just hasn't been given the opportunity, and that maybe they will from here on out. And Tony Storm versus Mariah May, where Tony Storm wins her belt back, just outstanding. I'm just, like I said, my favorite thing about AEW right now is Tony Storm. My second favorite is Harley Cameron. And that's not he's just picking the girls that are, no. By far, you tune in each week to see what Timeless Tony Storm is going to do. And you tune in each and every week to see what new level and what new side of her personality that Harley Cameron is going to show and show you how good she really is. Here's the thing I like too. This thing happened in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Something WWE is not big on doing. They've gotten a little better at it, but AEW nailed this. So you're in Australia. Match number 1. Will Ospreay. Where's Will Ospreay from? Does anybody know? Does anybody know where Will Ospreay is from? He is from London, England, but he has a lot of ties to Australia. There it is. But the biggest tie he has is Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. That's pretty much all Mark Davis is out there. Him and Kyle Fletcher used to be a tag team, a really good tag team. Kyle Fletcher is from Australia, is he not? Did I completely miss that? We almost have the same birthday. No, he's from Sydney, Australia. There you go. So match number 1 features one person on the outside and one person in the match that are from Australia. Match number 2. Harley Cameron from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. He's a homegrown. Match number 3. I think you guys are seeing where I'm going with this. Who's from Australia? Well, nobody in this one. John Moxley, Cincinnati. Claudio's from Switzerland. Marina Shafir, I think, is Canadian. Cope is Canadian. Let's get Marina because I know. No, she's Moldavian. My apologies, Marina. She is from Sirocco, Moldavia, SSR, Soviet Union. Now Moldova. My apologies, Marina. But Cope is Canadian. Jay White is from New Zealand, next door. So look at that. So far, we are 3 for 3 in featuring local, homegrown talent where this event is happening. Guess you guys can see where we're going with this. Kazuchika Okada from Japan. Buddy Matthews, Australia. He is from Melbourne, Australia. 4 for 4. Can we make it 5 for 5? Can they do the unthinkable? Can we feature hometown people in every single match on a pay-per-view? Well, actually, this is on television, on a special event. Well, Mariah May, London, England. But do you know where Tony Storm is from? Timeless Tony Storm from Auckland, New Zealand. She's a homegrown Sioux. AEW managed to do something that no other promotion has done in the longest time. Every match on your card featured somebody from the surrounding area. And these weren't just, oh, we just pick local talent just to fill out the roster. No, all of your top people featured in these matches were from either Australia or New Zealand. You get applause for that one. Nobody seems to do that. I don't get it. They'll do one in Toronto, and there'll be 2 Canadians in an 8-match card. And you go, it's weird. Now I get it if you went to like Saudi Arabia. Okay, you're probably not going to have that many Saudi athletes on your roster. MMA might, some other ones might. Pro wrestling, not yet. Those markets are just starting to take off. So I get that. You go to Poland, you're not going to have a lot of Polish athletes a lot of times on these. It's another market that's just starting to really get going. But in wrestling, you go to Canada, you go to Australia, you go to Japan, you go to even parts of Europe, you go to France, you should be able to find, somebody from England, somebody from Scotland, somebody from France, somebody from Spain. You should. I mean, I don't get Ireland. That whole area when you and just for some reason they don't. But AEW they hit a grand slam with that. They hit a grand slam with Grand Slam. That is 100% what they did, and that was what I took away the most from it. Not just the great performances from everybody, not just the fact that we didn't have to throw down a whole lot of ducats for this. We saw it on regular television, but the fact that they get it. We're gonna cater to the local market. We're gonna show you all of your big stars. I don't think you can do any better than that. I really don't. And I don't think I can talk any more about MMA or pro wrestling tonight. I really could talk the rest of the night about it, but I have said everything that needs to be said for this week. Outside of the Elimination Chamber, which once again, me and Daniel Snyder will be on tomorrow night to talk about. Please make sure to like, subscribe, question, comment, all those things to all of our social medias and all of our things. This has been another great edition of Strong Style. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys next time. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling. Go watch fighting.